You post a comment, you get a like. But be honest with yourself for a second. Does it feel like a human did that? Or does it feel like you are screaming into a void that has learned how to click buttons? Stop scrolling for a second. Look at those comments under the video. Great video. Nice pic. Are those people? Or are you just feeding data to a script that needs to look busy? You feel it, don't you? That creeping sensation that the internet, which used to be a crowded room, is now just an echo chamber where you are the only one with a pulse. You feel isolated, not because you are alone, but because the crowd around you feels synthetic. And you are right to feel that way. It is like a dying nightclub. You know the kind. The owners are desperate to keep the hype alive, so they pump fake crowd noise through the speakers. They dim the lights so you cannot see the corners. And they fill the dance floor with motorized mannequins to make it look busy from the street. You walk in, you buy a drink, you start to dance, but then you bump into someone. They are hard, plastic, cold. Everyone you try to talk to is just a pre-recorded loop. It feels like the Truman Show. But you are not even the star. You are just a battery powering the set. You argue with someone on Twitter. They reply instantly. They do not sleep. They do not make typos. Spoiler alert, you are arguing with a Python script. You think I am wearing a tinfoil hat? Let us look at the server logs. In 2016, a security company called Imperva released a report that nobody read. It was called the Bad Bot Report, and it contained a number that should have terrified everyone. 52%. In 2016, 52% of all internet traffic was non-human. Read that again. Over half. Imagine walking down the street, and every second person you pass is a hologram projected by a corporation. That is your timeline right now. Fast forward to today, and the numbers have stabilized around 47.4%. Nearly half the traffic. Half. The internet isn't a town square. It is a haunted house. This isn't science fiction. It is accounting fraud on a planetary scale. We call it the dead internet theory. But do not let the name fool you. It is not about ghosts in the machine. It is much stupider than that. It is a Ponzi scheme. Think about it. Facebook sells ads to Nike. Nike wants eyeballs. There aren't enough human eyeballs on Earth to satisfy the growth targets of Silicon Valley. So what do? Facebook invents invisible people to look at the shoes. It is not the Matrix. It is just a way to steal advertising budgets. The theory says the real internet died around 2016. What we have now is a zombie twitching on the floor because algorithms are poking it with a stick. So, if 50% of the voices are fake, whose opinion are you actually angry at? If half the likes are automated, what is your popularity actually worth? Sit down. Pour a drink. Because we are going to find out who killed the World Wide Web and why they are charging you a subscription fee for the corpse. We are going to prove the death, find the killer, and show you the body. And the irony is not lost on me that this video might be watched by bots, liked by bots, and commented on by bots. But if you are human, listen closely, because you are the last of your kind. It did not happen with a bang. It happened in a server room in 2016. The years between 2016 and 2022 were the silent takeover. While you were arguing about the election, while you were distracted by the latest celebrity scandal, the global internet infrastructure shifted. It went from a human majority network to a bot majority network. There were no breaking news headlines. CNN did not cover it. It was just a quiet report in a PDF file from Imperva. In 2016, 52% of traffic was bots. By 2022, it stabilized at 47.4%. Half the world went dark, and nobody noticed. We need to talk about the victim here. The victim is not you. The victim is the authentic user, or as Silicon Valley calls it, organic reach. This was the holy grail from 2004 to 2016. The idea that a real person with a real brain and a real wallet was looking at a screen. This active daily user is the metric that makes Facebook worth $1 trillion. It is the product being sold to advertisers. The entire $600 billion digital advertising market rests on the assumption that these users exist. If these users aren't real, the money isn't real. RIP, organic reach, born 2004, died 2016. And what does the official version say? Mark Zuckerberg gets on stage every quarter. He smiles that robotic smile. And he says, "We connected another billion people." Sure, Mark. The official story is that the internet is booming. Record user growth, more engagement than ever. When asked about the weird traffic, they say it is just bugs, or malicious actors we are fighting. They claim their algorithms are just getting better at showing you what you want. They tell you, "We block billions of fake accounts daily," which implies billions exist. But the narrative remains. The internet is alive, healthy, and growing. Buy our stock. But wait a second. Let's look at the inflation paradox. If Twitter has more users than ever, why does your tweet die in 10 minutes? If Instagram is growing, why is engagement per user tanking across the board? It does not add up mathematically. More people should mean more noise. Instead, it is getting quieter. You have thousands of followers, but you get 3 likes. Why? Are the new users shy? Are they introverts? Or do they simply not have fingers to click the like button? You are shouting into a stadium that claims to be full, but you cannot hear a single cheer. Then there are the viral ghosts. You see a trend on TikTok or Twitter. It has 100 million views. 100 million. That is 1/3 of the population of the United States. That is a Super Bowl level event. But then you walk outside. You go to work. You ask 10 people. Nobody saw it. Nobody cares. Silence. Where are these 100 million people? Are they hiding in a bunker? Are they all in a secret club you were not invited to? Or are they sitting in a server farm in Vietnam, racking up views to trigger an algorithm? Here is the kicker. The ad fraud silence. Coca-Cola pays for ads. Nike pays for ads. They pay per impression. If 50% of those impressions are bots, that means 50% of their budget is being set on fire. We are talking about billions of dollars wasted on bot views every year. Why isn't Coke suing? Why isn't Nike burning down Google headquarters? Why is there silence from the big brands? Unless the fake numbers make the marketing manager look good too? Maybe the marketing manager needs to show growth to his boss, just like Google needs to show growth to Wall Street. This is not an accident. You do not accidentally fill half your hotel with mannequins and charge them for room service. Someone is paying for the electricity to run these bots. Someone is signing the checks. The numbers do not add up, and the silence is deafening. To find the puppet master, we need to leave the present day. We need to go back. Back to 2010. Back before the click farms took over. Back to when the internet was actually real. Stop. Forget the bots for a second. Bots are just the symptoms. The disease is money. If you want to understand why your internet is dead, we need to stop looking at the code and start looking at the bank accounts. We are leaving the tech world now and entering the finance world. To understand why your reality is fake, you need to understand the business model that demands it to be fake. We're going to 2000. The dot-com bubble has just burst, and the survivors needed a new way to make money. The year is roughly 2000 to 2004. The dot-com crash wiped out trillions of dollars in value. Investors were bloodied and scared. The dream of the free internet was dying. But from the ashes, a new survivor emerged: Google. And later, Facebook. They came up with a new model. It is what Shoshana Zuboff calls, quote, 11. The deal was simple. We give you free services, search, email, social networking. You give us your data, and we sell that data to advertisers. The user was no longer the customer. The user was the raw material. But there was a problem, a physical, biological problem. Investors on Wall Street demand infinite growth. They want the stock price to go up every single quarter. Forever. But the product they are selling is human attention. And human attention is finite. There are only 24 hours in a day. You have to sleep. You have to eat. You have to work. There are only 7 billion humans on Earth. The demand for advertising slots was becoming infinite. But the supply of human eyeballs was capped by biology. The stock market demanded growth that reality could not provide. Enter the first players. Google launched AdSense. It promised to connect advertisers to exactly the right person at exactly the right time. It sounded perfect, but nobody checked if the clicking was real. This created a massive incentive for fraud. If I put Google ads on my website and I click them myself, I make money. Early black hat SEOs figured this out immediately. They built, quote, 1.4 and parked domains. It was the Wild West. And here is the conflict of interest that doomed us all. It is 2005. You are Google. You see fake clicks on your platform. You know they are fake. But those fake clicks are generating revenue. If you delete them, you lose 20% of your revenue instantly. Your stock price drops. Shareholders sue you. But if you keep them, if you call them, quote, 15, but still bill the advertiser, your revenue grows. What do? The choice was obvious. They turned a blind eye. They allowed the parasite to grow because it was feeding the host. Now, let's look at the map. We are moving away from the shiny offices of Silicon Valley. We are going to the periphery. We are going to Southeast Asia and Eastern Europe, specifically the Philippines, Bangladesh, and Russia. These became the click farm capitals of the world. This is digital colonialism in its purest form. Rich countries outsourcing the dirty work of fake engagement to poor countries where labor is cheap. In these places, the resource isn't gold or oil. It is _quote _ 18 _ likes, views, CAPTCHA solves. The factories are literal warehouses. Imagine a room with no windows, walls lined with thousands of cheap smartphones, all plugged into charging cables. It looks like a cyberpunk nightmare. In the beginning, there were real people sitting there, Real humans clicking quote 19 on your Facebook photo for fractions of a penny. Local operators controlled these farms, selling millions of likes to global brokers. This is the colonial machine. A brand in the US, let's say a politician or a shoe company, wants to look popular. They pay a marketing agency. The agency pays a broker. The broker pays the click farm in Bangladesh. Everyone takes a cut. The politician gets his votes. The agency gets its fee. The farm owner gets rich. And the worker clicking the button gets pennies. It is a perfect system. Except for the fact that it is all a lie. The brand is paying for nothing, and the real user, you, is drowned out by paid noise. Occasional crackdowns happen. Platforms announce the purge and delete millions of accounts. But it is just theater. It is an arms race. The farms evolved. They moved from low-paid humans to scripts and then to advanced AI. Why pay a human to click when a script can do it for free? The resistance was futile, because the platforms didn't actually want to win. They just wanted to look like they were trying. Stop. This is getting technical and boring. Let me explain this entire scam with a simple analogy. Let's go to a bar. Imagine you own a bar. You sell beer. A guy in a sharp suit walks in. Let's call him Google. He says to you, quote 21. You do the math. $1 a customer? You sell beer for $5. You say, quote 22, that night, 1,000 guys walk in. You are excited. You pay the suit $1,000 cash. But here's the catch. The guys don't drink. They don't talk. They don't look at the menu. They walk in the front door, spin around in a circle, and walk out the back door immediately. Then they go into the alley, put on a fake mustache, and walk back in the front door. The counter clicks. 2 customers. You pay the suit another $1. You complain to the suit. You scream, "These guys aren't drinking. They are the same guys with fake mustaches." The suit just smiles and points to your door counter. "Hey," he says, "you paid for foot traffic. Look at that counter. It is exploding. You are statistically the most popular bar in town." That is programmatic advertising. The suit is the ad exchange. The guys with fake mustaches are bots, and you, the bar owner, are the idiot paying for it. Programmatic advertising is just a fancy word for automated theft. The mustache is the IP address. The spinning around is cookie clearing. And the worst part? You cannot fire the suit because he owns the only door to the street. If you stop paying him, nobody enters your bar at all. You are held hostage by the guy robbing you. So we have the motive, money. We have the mechanism, the infinite beer scam. Now let's connect it back to the event, back to the quote 28. Why did the bots win around 2016? It was because the farms shifted from humans to quote 29. It became cheaper to simulate a human than to hire one. The introduction of large language models, long before ChatGPT became famous, changed everything. Suddenly, you could generate infinite content, not just infinite clicks. You could write articles, comments, tweets. The quote 30 happened when it became cheaper to generate fake content than to make real content. Platforms prioritized quote 31 over quote 32. They chose the fake mustache guys because they were predictable. And here is the critical moment. The moment the snake ate its own tail. An AI writes an article. A bot reads the article. An ad algorithm pays for the view. No human is involved in the entire loop. Just machines moving money in a circle. This is why the internet feels dead. The humans are no longer needed for the economy to function. We are just annoying legacy code in a system designed for bots. So we have the motive, we have the weapon, but who pulled the trigger? Who actually built the tools that killed reality? Remember the 47% bot traffic we talked about? That wasn't an invasion from outer space. That was an invitation. The click farms didn't just break down the door. The gates were opened from the inside. We saw the weapon, the farms in Asia. We saw the motive, the infinite growth. Now, let's look at the contract that hired them. The quote 33 didn't just fade away into the night. It was strangled in a boardroom. Here is the smoking gun. It is called the pivot-to-video fraud. In 2015 and 2016, Facebook made a claim that changed the world. They told advertisers and media companies that users were shifting massively to video. They claimed their average view duration metrics were through the roof. But it was a lie. A massive billion-dollar lie. They didn't just miscalculate by a few percent. They inflated the metrics by 150% to 900%. Let me repeat that. 900%. They counted a quote 36 after just 3 seconds, even if you were scrolling past it and didn't even look. That is not a view. That is a trap. But the media companies believed them. Why wouldn't they? It's Facebook. The consequence was a massacre. College Humor, Funny or Die, Mashable, Vice. Hundreds of media companies fired their writers, real human journalists and comedians, to hire video producers. They destroyed their text-based businesses to chase the video gold rush. But the gold wasn't real. The audience wasn't there. It was just inflated numbers. Real journalism died. Real comedy died. Why? Because a spreadsheet lied about how much you love video. The authentic internet wasn't killed by _37_. It was killed because Facebook faked a metric by 900% to steal ad budgets from TV, forcing the entire web to pivot to a format that bots watch better than humans. Bots are great at watching videos. They don't get bored. They don't skip ads. But the villain isn't just one company. It is a cartel. While you were watching cat videos, the two kings of the internet met in a dark room. In 2018, Google and Facebook signed a secret agreement codenamed Operation Jedi Blue. It sounds like a bad movie, but it was a very real antitrust conspiracy. The deal was simple. Facebook agreed not to compete with Google's ad tech machinery. In exchange, Google gave Facebook special treatment in ad auctions. They rigged the auction. If you are a real human publisher trying to sell an ad, you lose. If you are Facebook, you win. They solidified a duopoly that controls 90% of the traffic flow. This is antitrust level illegal. But the fines they paid were just a parking ticket compared to the profits they made. And here is the ugly insight. The moment the algorithm realized something terrifying. You, the human, are, quote, 39. You are annoying. You have free will. You use ad blockers. You get offended. You take breaks to sleep. Bots are, quote, 40. A bot never installs an ad blocker. A bot never complains. A bot watches ads 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The system prefers the dead internet. It is more efficient. The perfect customer for Google isn't you. It is a script running on a server in Mumbai. The algorithm realized it could just show ads to bots and charge the client anyway. Why deal with messy humans when you can just print money with machines? Who benefited from this murder? The shareholders of Alphabet and Meta. Look at the stock charts. Their valuations hit trillion-dollar milestones. The asset they are selling is daily active users. If they filtered out all the bots, if they actually removed the dead part of the internet, their reported traffic would drop by 40 or 50%. Wall Street would panic. The stock would crash. So, they keep the corpse on life support. They are selling a ghost town to advertisers, charging rent for a bustling city. The winner is the shareholder. The loser is reality. So the internet is dead, the body is rotting, and the murderers are cashing the insurance checks. What do we do now? The autopsy is complete. We know the time of death, somewhere between 2016 and 2017. We know the victim, the organic internet. That means you, the authentic user. You didn't just leave. You were evicted. You were suffocated by algorithmic optimization. Your opinion no longer matters. Your vote is drowned out by 10,000 scripts. You are screaming into a pillow. The internet you remember, the one with people, with messy, real connection, is dead. It is not coming back. And we know the winners. The duopoly, Alphabet and Meta. They won a combined market capitalization of roughly $3 trillion. They gained total control of the $600 billion digital advertising market. Google didn't lose the war against bots. They hired them. They monetized the silence. They turned fraud into a feature. And the system is stronger than ever. AI has just made the fake crowd cheaper to manufacture. Remember the nightclub I told you about in the beginning? Let's go back to that dance floor one last time. The dying club with the fake noise and the dimmed lights. Now you understand exactly what you are looking at. The bouncer at the door? That is the algorithm. He filters out the low-profit humans and lets in the high-profit bots. The mannequins on the dance floor? Those are the bots. Perfect behavior. They always watch the ads. They never cause trouble. The DJ? That is the content farm. Playing the same 4 songs on loop because the data says those are the _quote _ 44 _ tracks. And you? You are the drunk guy in the corner. You are stumbling around, bumping into plastic figures, thinking the mannequin just winked at you. You are arguing with a speaker system. You are the only person in the club with a pulse. And the owner doesn't care if you have fun. He doesn't care if you are lonely. He only cares that you pay the cover charge, which is your data. We stay in the club because we are terrified of the silence outside. We accept the fake noise because it feels better than being alone. The dead internet isn't a conspiracy. It is a mirror. It reflects our desperate need to be heard, even if the only thing listening is a machine. So, what is the lesson here? Truth does not set you free. Knowing the internet is dead won't bring it back. It just makes you lonely. But at least you are not crazy. At least you know why the room feels so cold. The free internet is over. The human internet is now a luxury product, a VIP section you have to pay for. Verification is the future. You will have to pay to prove you exist. If you made it this far, and you are not a script, congratulations. You are the glitch in the matrix. You have an attention span, which is a rare commodity in this economy. I respect the time you spent here. Time is the only thing they cannot print more of. So here is my challenge to you. Turn it off. Go outside. talk to a person, touch grass, verify reality. Don't let the screen tell you what the world looks like. The internet is dead. Long live the real world.